Hey, what's going on? Your name is EsperReview, right? I apologize right offhand if I got that wrong because this is a direct video upload and I do not have your channel on my screen at all at the moment. Uh, I'm gonna get it on the screen right now so I can actually have something to refer to. Uh, but yeah, I saw you, EsperReview. Okay, that's your name. I apologize for totally butchering that. If you hadn't noticed by now, actually, I'm using the YouTube Direct Upload feature. So, there's going to be a lot of pauses and stops, things like that. And I'm not going to have a chance to edit this, obviously, because it's, when you direct upload, it just goes right to the YouTube page. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. I just want to let you know that I am a humongous Dragon Ball fan in every single regard. I own, or at least I owned, all the DVDs. I still own a lot of the DVDs. I just don't. I've sold a lot of them because I don't know. I didn't find some of them particularly useful because of the newer versions that were being released, like Kai and the remastered sets, things like that. I sold all the remastered sets. I sold all of them because there's no point, after the Garlic Jr. saga, pretty much. Actually, really, there's no point after the Frieza saga because uh, they stopped dubbing it. They stopped redubbing. Well, that's not the point of this video. I'm getting off on a tangent. The point is, I'm responding to your Dragon Ball GT video. Uh, I agree 100% with pretty much everything that you said. Everything. Uh, I agree that the only character that got any kind of growth in that series, it's kind of funny considering how he became a kid and he no longer was growing. Yeah. Well, I agree with pretty much everything that you said, but well, no. Before I get into the but, yeah, I agree with everything that you said. I think that Goku turning into a child was awful. And I think that Goku being pretty much the main focus of the series was just annoying as hell. Uh, I agree that every character got their chance to shine in DBZ at some point or another. Just about every character. Maybe not every single character, because there was a point in DBZ where it just became pretty much the Goku and Vegeta show. And essentially, GT continued with the trope of Goku and Vegeta. Now, I will say, obviously, Goku went past Vegeta, obviously, because Vegeta, after he went back to Saiyan mode after he was a Super Saiyan for a little while, he became next to useless. I disagree, though, on a few things, though. I disagree that the battle with Super 17 and the Shadow Dragons, or not Shadow Dragons, but Sin Shenron were like the best the best battles. Because to me, personally, I think that Sin Shenron and Super 17's, their fights were kind of lame. I can understand Super 17. I'll give you Super 17 a little bit more because Super 17, he was an interesting character. I thought he was kind of cool. I thought it was cool to bring 17 back as a villain. Um, an ultra powerful version of him. I thought that was kind of a cool idea. Um, Personally, though, I didn't find that fight particularly as thrilling as it should have been. Sin Shenron, he does not deserve to be the final villain of all of Dragon Ball. He does not deserve to be. The villain of Dragon Ball, the final villain of Dragon Ball, should have been like Shenron himself, as far as I'm concerned. Like, he's getting tired. He's grown absolutely tired of granting wishes, and he breaks apart from the Dragon Balls. And they have to actually fight a giant dragon, a mystical dragon that they, had been granting wishes from all these years, and he turns out to be the final villain of the entire series. It's kind of weird when you sit and think about it, but still. I just think that the final villain should have been a little bit more climactic than what we got. Sin, Shenron, he had some cool concepts, but I just didn't buy him very much, and I don't think his fight was very well. The only fight that I really, really liked, who I thought matched the caliber of a DBZ battle and a DBZ story arc, feel free to contest this, because this is obviously not the only thing. This is obviously an opinion-based discussion. I think Baby was probably the only reason that anybody should watch Dragon Ball GT, personally. I think he was probably one of the best villains in GT. Sure, there were a lot of things that he did that were the same as other villains throughout Dragon Ball, like Boo is a big thing, and Majin Vegeta is essentially combining Boo and Majin Vegeta together to create this other villain. But I actually really liked him, though. I liked him more than anything that came afterwards. I liked how he pretty much took over. I like how he wanted revenge on the Saiyans for them destroying his people, the Tuffles. You know, that was a pretty legitimate excuse. He actually had a excuse for doing the things that he did. Unlike characters like Cell, Frieza, and even Vegeta. They just wanted to kill people. They just wanted to destroy the freaking universe, pretty much, and attain immortality for their own selfish desires. Boo was an exception, because Boo was just... he was a mindless freak. He had no idea what he was doing. He was just doing what he, wanted to do. I don't even know. He wasn't really doing it for fun. He was just doing it so he could eat. He just wanted to eat. And it involved killing lots and lots of people. He didn't really want a challenge or anything. He just kind of did things. And Baby, though, Baby actually had a reason for doing everything that he was doing. I actually cared for what he wanted, for when he was killing, or when he took over the planet and he pretty much put bits and pieces of himself in every citizen. He treated them like normal people. Like, they all lived lives normally, like normal people that were his citizens, and he was their ruler, and he treated them all like his children, pretty much. And I really, really liked that. And I fought the fight between him and Goku with the whole golden ape transformations. That stuff was badass. I mean, they brought back the ape stuff. I thought that the Baby Saga, not including the lost episodes, I do not include the lost episodes in this particular instance. Those sucked. But Baby, man, I just think that he was probably the most interesting part of the entire series, and I would have continued watching that. If he'd stayed alive longer, man, I would have continued watching that. And it felt good. I liked how it was just presented. Baby... and I like how he was beaten, too. I like the fact that he ran away, He tried to get away. He wasn't just being a stubborn fool like a normal Dragon Ball villain was. He's like, okay, I can't beat this guy. I gotta get the hell out of here. And he leaves. But Goku, knowing that he's gonna get more powerful when he finds another host or whatever like that, knows that he'll probably come back, so he destroys him. That being said, that's a really out-of-character moment for Goku, because Goku never usually does that. He let Vegeta leave on Earth, and he knew Vegeta would be back. Why didn't he give Baby that same chance? That's a new point that we should argue. I think that it's just bad writing, and that Goku was just completely out of character at that moment. He was a Super Saiyan 4, I'll give him that, so his attitude might be a little bit different, but still. Here's my next point. My next point is that, again, let me reaffirm that I did not like Dragon Ball GT. Like I said, the only reason you should watch it is because of Baby. But one thing I will give GT that you didn't mention in your video is that the ending was so much better than Dragon Ball Z. I will give it... GT had a superior ending to the entire Dragon Ball franchise, to me. And I think a lot of other people, a lot of my friends agree that the GT ending was so much better, 100 times better, than the ending to DBZ. Because DBZ just... it just ended. I mean, come on. I mean, it just ended with him taking Oob away, training, abandoning his family, his friends, his kids, everything. Just go and train this random little kid. I mean, yeah, I understand it's a reincarnation of Boo, and that's fine and dandy, but I mean, he just leaves? I mean, I understand Goku leaving. No, excuse me. No. Goku leaving is fine, I guess. But it just, the way in which it happened, though, in DBZ, the way it was presented in DBZ, just, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. It didn't work for a lot of people. It just kind of ended. I mean, we don't care about this little Indian boy because we've never seen him before. Why do we care about him? That's all I gotta say about that. But the ending to GT, you know, you got a sense of conclusion, really. You did. Like, Goku is leaving. Obviously, it seems like Goku always has to leave at the end. Goku leaves, and he becomes one with Shenron, in my vision. He becomes one with Shenron. And personally, that's something that I think should happen because it has such a history with the Dragon Balls. And he's the savior of the planet. He should become a spiritual entity that exists throughout time and space. You know, and pretty much Goku should become a legendary figure. That's kind of what the ending preluded to. That Goku is going to become this essentially this god. You know, this higher power who will exist in stories, kind of like how characters from Greek myth exist in stories throughout all time. That is how the ending of GT was presented. You know, Goku becomes this figure. And yeah, I really, really like that. And it also just had a better conclusion because he actually went to individual characters. He visited Piccolo in Hell. He visited Krillin. You know, brought back some old memories, nostalgic feelings, and said goodbye to everybody. You know, it was just a much, much more satisfying ending. And then it had, you know, obviously the clip show showing everything, you know, after that. And then 100 years later, Goku Jr. versus Vegeta Jr. Personally, I'm not into the whole Goku Jr. versus Vegeta Jr. thing, but I still thought it worked for this ending. But yeah, I think GT was a superior ending. Now, GT was not a superior story. It was a terrible, terrible story with some parts of it that I liked and parts of it that I didn't like. I thought the idea of the Shadow Dragons was cool. The execution was pretty fail. I thought all the villains coming back from Hell was a cool idea, but ultimately that execution was also a fail. 17, I thought was pretty cool dude, but I think it would have been better if he'd been redeemed, not killed. But that's asking too much of GT, really, at that point. But yeah, that's pretty much my opinion about GT. About, you know, some things you may have missed in your video that I think, you know, make it superior in some ways to Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. That being said, GT was not good. I'm probably going to post a follow-up video of my own going into more detail about my own pros and cons of Dragon Ball GT because I kind of want to get in on this. I really do. It seems pretty cool, pretty interesting to talk about. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Thanks for watching, and peace.